this shirt don't fit like it used to, and I need another notch
Good
in my belt.
evening.
If you're looking for a
Welcome to Talking Sports. We are Dads of Bacon. I am Big Ben, joined by the boys. Steve, how you doing today?
Hey, it's a week without football of whatever sort. We're done with college. We give our week off before the Super Bowl because anymore the Pro Bowl doesn't count. I mean, it's now the Pro Bowl games. It's not even the Pro Bowl. So plenty of other things to do this weekend.
It's fair. TJ, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Just reading up on the news. A little small plane crash in D.C. and everybody's saying it's a terrorist attack.
Yep.
Of course. Lovely. Adam, how about you, bud?
I'm good, thank you. I am going to crash after this show. I was broadcasting Counter-Strike from 8:30 a.m. this morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I was going to do more commentary. Then I had a meeting. Now I'm here with you guys, so I'm tired, but I'm good.
So, got to ask you, what was the best moment in Counter-Strike that you saw today? Anything that stood out for you?
I think one thing that turned the tides of that 8:30 match was 2 rounds, one player a solo holding a bomb site and a couple of clutches to get multi-kills to basically turn that entire map around. They were down several rounds, and that swung the momentum the other way, and the other team never looked back. Was very, very impressive. So, also, finally we got the Austin Major tickets announced. And I know where the heck it's going to be in that city.
Well, good. Good.
Pumped about that.
As you should be, my friend. As you should be. Look, I got to make one quick joke at TJ here. It's a trashy shirt you're wearing tonight, buddy, but we still love you for it anyway. Moving into trashy decisions, the Dallas Cowboys decided that change is not in the cards for them. And they want to try a name versus talent by having Brian Schottenheimer as their new head coach. TJ, how do you feel as a hopeless Cowboy fan looking at the next 4 years?
You just said it perfectly right there. I'm hopeless. There's nothing to even root for anymore. And at this point in time, I am putting an application out to be on anybody's bandwagon. So if anybody's open, let me know. I will genuinely write out a good reference for this one.
Okay, that's very fair. Speaking of interesting decisions in the same area, though, I know we talked about going into the games, but I want to talk about coaching for a second here longer. Pete Carroll's back in the business, taking that Raiders job.
Raiders!
I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think Tom Brady was involved in making that happen?
Yes.
No way.
No, it's been put out there that he had some pull in getting Carroll to come in. No.
Why? Because he beat him?
Why?
He beat him in the Super Bowl, and he said, bring it back because we're going to lose it even more.
I briefly saw a headline that's like Brady had, it was just like Brady had some influence in Mark Davis's ear about getting Carroll to come coaching.
Well, yeah, because he can't get Daddy, so now he's got to get Daddy Jr.
No, he's got to get the uncle.
Oh, Jesus.
He's going to get the uncle or the cousin.
I got to say this. Pete Carroll, to me, is that coach that I'd be putting in place if I have a young guy I like that's not ready yet. If there's somebody that I know I want to get a good – because right now Pete Carroll hasn't made. He doesn't have to win at any point in this contract. The Raiders are buried in one of the best divisions in football. So all they got to do is get better. And Pete Carroll can do that. He can make them better. He can make them more reliable, make them more consistent. So honestly, for me, this was probably the most logical job for Pete Carroll in the market because there's zero expectation at this point besides build. Am I wrong? I mean, like,
I don't know. There's been a lot of hearsay about this, and that Pete Carroll's coming back, so maybe this is his time to be the next unsung hero coming back, being retired or whatever. The way that I see it is, I think the Raiders are so picky with who they want as a coach, and they can't get their coach because he's at UNC Chapel Hill. And granted, he has not signed yet to UNC Chapel Hill.
He signed.
Yep.
Did he finally sign?
Yeah, he did.
That
All right.
that
Well,
broke, I think, late last week.
All right, so that's out the books now. So now they're just like, okay, Adam, as you said, let's pick up the uncle because daddy's not coming home until his contract's either over or he does something to nullify that contract.
As far as the other coaching hires go, what I want to bring up to ask you as the next piece on is the New Orleans Saints. The vacancy is remaining.
Kellen Moore.
Sorry?
Kellen Moore.
I'm hearing that, and I don't get the fit, if I'm being honest.
So, okay. So here's what, and now I don't know how much on like the Midwest you guys get with a lot of the sports talks. I know you guys have the really good sports talk shows. Here in Baltimore, we have one that had, it's like 105.7 The Fan. They have an insider with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They have fully set out saying that they cannot get in contact. They can't fully put anything out until after the Super Bowl since Kellen Moore is in the Super Bowl. But Kellen Moore, that job is locked up. The reason why is because who is the other notable coach looking for a job right now?
Mike McCarthy.
Okay. He has not even tried to go back to New Orleans. So he's going to take the year off. Kellen Moore's going to take the Saints. The way I see this going, and now I'm going to bring it kind of, Adam, your way with the Patriots in a 1-year deal. Vrabel just completely shits the bed. All right. I see it, but I don't because I don't know how the Patriots are going to do with Vrabel there. I know I know Kraft knows Vrabel very well. Won the Super Bowl, was great, whatever. I think what's going to happen is Vrabel's going to shit the bed, and then we're going to have another just fucking whirlwind of coaches coming in. A coach that I see coming in next year is Chip Kelly, coming back to the NFL as a head coach.
I can see it.
You can do that, but here's what I've been told in the OHIO wannabe YMCA shit. Chip Kelly is not happy. He won the national title, but he is still not happy. He's not able to run that offense the way that he traditionally wants to do that. He could go to the NFL and do that. I
When
see
Ryan
him
Day gets fired and he becomes the head coach is a different story.
Yeah.
I still don't think Ryan Day survives the offseason.
No, not at all.
I disagree with you guys there. I do think that at that point McCarthy would be well suited to take an
Ohio
OC
State,
role.
yeah, get him out of the NFL.
Well, I'm saying in general, put him as an OC somewhere again.
Yep.
Force him to get creative and create versus what he's done the last 15 years has been slowly whittle his book down to being so pigeonholed. I can plan defense against his offense.
I think that's the interesting thing, Ben, about McCarthy, about Carroll, about Vrabel, about these old-time coaches, including Belichick for that matter. The game has evolved. The young coaches, Sean McVay, Super Bowl champion, Kevin O'Connell, he's going to get there, whether or not with Minnesota, or he's going to go win a Super Bowl at one point. There are going to be a lot of other young coaches. Sirianni, going to win a Super Bowl this year. Andy Reid has left enough of a creative mind that he's adapted the NFL. But, oh, look, what caught up to Kansas City this year? Their lackluster wannabe no-good offense caught up to them. The game is evolving. The younger minds are ready to adapt. The younger minds are adapting. I don't think the older folks, not saying they're bad coaches, I think they're still great. But is it Super Bowl great? Is it enough that you can scheme something against a Kansas City defense, against an Eagle defense, against a Raven defense, against a Bill defense, a Lions, Bengals? Oh, Bengals really on anything. Heck, even Steve Steelers.
Yep.
right? Is it
Hold
something
on
you
here,
can
Adam.
go
I gotta
and attack?
stop
Even
for
the
a second.
Texans.
He that offense just beat the Bills defense. That offense just beat the Texans defense.
We will get there, Ben.
Well, I'm there now. I'm telling you that's the problem we're looking at. You're looking at saying the old.
You're
coaches
looking at a
always are
rigged
wrong.
NFL.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's besides the point. I said it. Roger Goodell pulled off his best Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Been pulling off his best Vince McMahon all year.
I saw somebody on Sunday tweeted, "Isn't it funny that the NFL and the WWE both call themselves entertainment properties?"
Right.
And with all due respect, so like there's a TikToker I follow. He's on YouTube. He's everywhere. Wyatt's World. Big Bills fan. Had a very nice message for everybody after that game. And part of his message was, look, as a Bills fan, if you beat us fair and square, I'm going to give you respect for it. Last 3 times they played Patrick Mahomes and lost, he gave him respect. He refused to do it this time. He said the game was rigged. He said it was rigged. Everything from the first Xavier Worthy catch. How the do you rule that a catch? That was not a catch. The ball was clearly in the ground. He didn't have that first down over the goal line. Bills got that reversed. There are plenty of signs that game very well could have been rigged. Is anyone ever going to prove it? Not unless a whistleblower from the NFL front office wants to go whistleblow against Goodell. But I'm sorry. 31 other teams, and he said, and 31 other teams, that's not a catch. 31 other teams, that's not a first down. Yep. Even the Dalton Kincaid drop, by the way.
Right.
Phantom flag, giving false hope for a few more seconds.
Yep. And 31 other teams, that Josh Allen first down is a first down.
I mean, look, I'll say this. This past Sunday was easily the biggest piece of evidence against the league in this situation we've probably seen to this point.
The biggest piece of evidence was the Worthy catch, period.
Well,
I've got the script. Do you guys want to know the script for the Super Bowl?
Look, I'll tell you right now that Eagles game was just as bad, if not worse. The Eagles have been given this road to the Super Bowl as much as the Chiefs have been. Going back to the kickoff in the wild card round against the Packers, when our returner clearly recovers the ball, and they still get the ball to the Eagles. The Eagles have been given early momentum in all their games through ridiculous calls the Eagles do not belong here. I said it the whole year. The Eagles are not that good. This is not
They're
a
fool's
great
gold.
How
They are
about,
the most well-balanced team in football.
how about Sean Hockley's wonderful explanation when that Washington guy kept jumping the line at the goal line? If you continue to do this after so many times, we reserve the right to award a score to
that was
the
Frankie
offense.
Louvu jump. Yeah. I didn't realize that was a rule.
But I mean, even going through that game, and I saw it early, and it was so blatant and obvious to me in the first half of that Commanders game that the Eagles were going to win, not because of talent or a better game plan. And to your point, Adam, the roster is good. Sirianni is not.
No,
that is
he's
not
not.
that is not a good head coach.
No, he's
And
not.
So I look at that and I say the Commanders, honestly, despite the score, 52 players matching up head-to-head were better than the 52 across from them. They still lost that game as far as I'm concerned. But Saquon Barkley went freaking mad. The dude
Saquon Barkley.
I mean, but again, the first run he popped, watch the O-line there. 2 blatant holds called on anybody but them or the Chiefs on Sunday. But nope, Saquon's okay. I mean, you're talking about full-arm bear hugs, taking guys out of the play. Completely ignored. The drop in the end zone that I forgot what play it was exactly. It was Brown or whoever it was, drops the ball in the corner of the end zone, and then the ref waits to see the ball squared up before he throws the flag down to give him pass interference so you can take him to the goal line. I mean, it's the blatant and obvious twist of the game using officials. And I said it in our chat, and I want to touch on this for a second, but we talked about a fan accountability council. At what point can we as fans call it unionized, call it organized, what are we going to call it? Start demanding accountability from the leagues that we're investing our money into, that we're investing our time into, to say, you know what, I want some degree of transparency So the product is what it's being represented as.
You
When I go to a wrestling show, I know it's determined.
So let me
I've
take
got the script right here. I'll tell you why you
That
can't
looks
do
like
it.
algebra homework.
Okay, shut up.
So let me tell you two things, Ben. Number one, the NCAA has been doing this for the last couple years.
No doubt.
Their secretary editor of rules.
Are we really bringing up the NCAA
I'm
what
just-
might be the worst run for organization?
let me just
in
tell
all
you.
sports?
Yep.
Every week they put out a video for both their officials and the fans and media talking about some of the calls that happened in the previous week and explaining what happened and going through the motions. The NFL doesn't do that. In fact, they didn't even, I don't know if they didn't make the official available, Sean Hockley, after the Eagles game, but there's supposed to be the availability for a pool reporter to go talk to the referee and say what happened.
Yep.
And for some reason, that didn't happen. One other thing, really quick, keep in mind, those two crews that we saw, and they're mixed. So they're not just like, that was not all Sean Hockley's crew. That
Yep.
was not all Clete Blakeman's crew. Those are supposed to be the second and the third best officials at their positions for this year. Keep that in mind.
It's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
they're the second and third best officials to suck wiener. I mean, Jesus Christ, I could find a better crew in Pee Wee football than these guys.
So here's the deal, to Ben's point, and I've heard a lot of people say this, and a lot of people are making the stand. They're not watching the Super Bowl. Again, personally, I have no problem with the Eagles. The Eagles finally did what the Lions should have did last week and run through them. You had a magical season. Your defensive line is trash. Buffalo's defensive line is trash. Buffalo massively overachieved. They have no wide receivers. Mahomes at least had scraps left of what was elite level talent.
Juju
Yeah.
Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, exactly. But the Eagles did what they should have did. They took care of business against the Commanders. What they should have done on paper. That Chiefs-Bills game was literally a toss-up. But the biggest thing, if you really, and I don't think this will happen because it's the biggest events in sports in America, probably next to the World Cup, don't watch the Super Bowl. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm going to be at a contracts conference. I'm going to a Super Bowl party to hang out with a bunch of colleagues who I'm just going to be mishmashing with, and I'll be watching the game in the background. Am I still betting on the game? Yeah, because I like money. I like winning money. And if they're going to give me a rigged game, I'm going to win me money. But that's besides the point. Okay, TJ has the script. Now TJ's selling the script and or his homework. But
Homework.
again, don't watch the Super Bowl. If this is the lowest ever watched Super Bowl and they take a massive revenue hit, something is going to change. But do you trust NFL owners? All 31 have to be in agreement against the Chiefs and against Goodell to kick his ass out and to stop whatever was going on. Ben, you and I are wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be thingless. I know wrestling.
Hey, I am too.
Okay, TJ's a wrestling fan. We know it's rigged. We know it's a setup. We have fun
It
talking
is?
stories. We have fun talking Rumble. We have fun talking where it's going, who's getting the title, who deserves it. We have fun with this shit. This isn't supposed to be the WWE and or any professional wrestling.
And it's not fun.
sports.
And frankly, Adam, to your point, it's not fun. I had the least fun I've had watching 7 hours of football this past Sunday. It was not even enjoyable. Like that is embarrassing to what was one of the best sporting leagues in the world, and now it is embarrassing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And look, my struggle is that to me, Super Bowl Sunday was always like a holiday around my house. We got to go with our families. It was more than a game; it was a holiday.
Yep.
Do I rob my kids of that because I'm bitter? Maybe.
No.
Maybe, honestly. Like, hey, guys, something's worth taking a stand for. And you know what? I don't want to see
You
Taylor
can't
Swift.
do that. Hold on. You can't do that. You want to know why? Put on the fucking Puppy Bowl. There's your
Puppies!
Super Bowl.
Yep.
Peace.
Puppy Bowl.
By the way, whoever wins the Puppy Bowl, if you need commentary,
right here. This guy.
Adam,
Please. I think you would be the best commentary for the Puppy Bowl.
no more Jerry Lawler references, Adam, please. All right, is there real puppies we're talking about?
Real
wait, hold on.
puppies.
I want to go back to something that Adam said.
The Purina One Puppy Bowl. I imagined myself doing like, that is literally my style of commentary. And I love dogs.
Wait, I want to go back to something that Adam said. Wrestling's fake? I always thought wrestling was real.
I don't know.
Well, guys, anything else you want to touch on the NFL? I do want to touch on wrestling because this is an important weekend in wrestling, by the way. Of all the slow things going on in sports, we can talk about that this weekend.
Let me give
Anything
you
else on
one
football?
last bit about
Please.
football, and then I'll bow out for a
If
second.
it's
The
another
non-wrestling
Mike
person.
Tomlin reference, we are yeeting
No.
you from the show.
No. Here's the problem. That game, the Chiefs
Yeet.
Bills, 57.4 million viewers. It's the largest audience. It's the second largest ever for a conference championship game. The
'Cause we
NFC
were all
game
playing
drew
drinking games.
44.1 million viewers. But that's the problem. The NFL hooked you. They got you in the door for, they're Vince McMahon. Goodell is Vince McMahon with the dollar signs in his eyes because
Here
he
we
knows
go.
he can set him up and he can knock him down. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Then Dana White.
Well, see, to be
now
honest,
Roger
though,
Goodell.
the only reason why that was the highest viewing AFC championship game is because everybody was drinking. It was called a drinking Taylor Swift game. How many times are you going to see Taylor Swift? You take a shot.
Well, that's it. How many Swifties were part of those ratings?
Right,
lot.
well, that's just it, right?
I think the
now you
majority
come
of it,
back
too.
Into this whole bullshit of it's the Super Bowl logo. You literally had to make bullshit up last year because it was Chiefs. Excuse me, it was someone last year in Taylor Swift. You
It was
literally
Niners
had to
Chiefs
put a
last year.
purple. Yeah, and
Yeah, the purple because of Taylor Swift because of her
it's
cover.
such bullshit.
Hey, they just came out with the new one for the next Super Bowl, and it's all blue. So you know what that means? It's going to be the
Bills
Colts
Lions,
and-
let's go.
No, Colts and Cowboys. Suck it.
Rams.
I won't watch that game either. That sounds terrible. But
All right.
Yes, Adams away. Oh shit.
weekend, we get the Royal Rumble. Look,
I'm kidding. There we go.
the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite gimmick matches in all of wrestling. It's
Yeet.
ridiculous. It's fun.
Yeet.
But look, I love the swerves you can get and the stories you can build in one match.
Mm.
This is where we saw Kofi Mania start. This is where we've seen, everything. Every storyline you've seen the last year has probably started at Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Whether it's Drew McIntyre eliminating Brock
Lesnar.
Lesnar or whatever it's going to be, these stories build themselves. And it's beautiful how it happens. The match is fun. There's always a surprise. Even if it's a mild surprise, it's still fun to have that little, oh, okay. Like,
Yep.
do you guys remember Jeff Hardy coming out and you're just like, oh, dang, okay, here we go. Like, let's
I
hit
still
this.
think by far the biggest pop to date that I remember. Now, I'm younger than you guys. I will admit that. But the one that I remember, there were two, was Madison Square Garden when John Cena came back off of his injury,
Yep.
and then when Edge came back
Exactly
in
where I was gonna
Houston.
go.
I
That
swear
one
to
was
God,
insane when he came out 27.
dude.
Yeah.
So I remember the day.
Oh, wait
It
a
was
minute.
yesterday.
Which Edge return? Was this the one back in the early 2010s or the one that was
The most recent.
2020?
Recent,
Okay,
the most recent
2020.
one.
Yeah.
Because
Because no one saw that coming.
No, because he even said he was done. He wasn't coming back. I think it was like a few months before the Rumble. He was like, yeah, I can't see myself wrestling again. I do want to help out in any way I can with coaching, whatever. Beth is doing her thing. And then all of a sudden, his music goes up, smoke's coming up. Dude, I swear to God, I jumped out of bed and I swear I was jumped out the window and started running around the neighborhood screaming. I mean, that
I
was
think
one of the
it's
best
Cena.
ones.
Yep, it's Cena in the what was it, the 08 or 09 Rumble, and then the Edge 2020 Rumble. Yeah, those are the two loudest pops for a return in Royal Rumble history, bar none.
I mean,
So-
and I can also remember, like, was it last year or the year before when like Andrade came back?
Yeah. last year.
I thought that would have been a little bit bigger of a pop, for him to come
had
back,
new
but it really
music.
wasn't.
No.
It should be, but it won't because of who he is, honestly. But look, I went to the Edge. To me, Edge was one of the ones that, for me, in recent memory, just burns into your brain. It's like, because I think all of us missed the first minute of him walking out because we're all like jumping up and down in our living rooms going, oh my God. Oh my God. And the funny thing about that was around that time is when Edge and Christian stopped their podcast. They both talked about projects that they were working on. Christian was starting to go to AEW, and Edge was getting ready for his return for Rumble. They said they're both working on projects. That's all they said. And then all of a sudden, bam, it was done, and all of a sudden they're back on our television screens. It was a thing of beauty.
And this has
And
been the
certainly
best
made,
work of Christian's career by far.
Oh, easily.
The patriarchy, insane.
Look, I'm going to go through a few names. I want you guys to kind of give me a top 10, middle 10, or first 10 out. Going through some of the currently announced wrestlers, and I have a few that I'm going to focus in on a little bit as we go.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you guys first, L.A. Knight. Yeah, where's he for you guys? Is he going to be one of those? Is he jobbing this one? Is he going to make a little run? Is he going to be one of the last ones?
I think this is terrible to say, but I think he's in the first 10.
Okay.
He's probably in that mid-pack, but I think he's in the first 10. And I think he'll be one of those guys that go anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes.
Okay.
I think he's kind of starting to lose his luster a little bit after losing the title.
Yep.
You see him, kind of flowing in and out, and the stories that they want to put him in, they could definitely be there. But I see him being the very first one getting out.
I think for LA Knight, I'm gonna agree with you. I think he'll hang around the corner, kind of the guy who's taking the rest holds and sitting in the corner. I think. I agree with you on middle 10. I think overall it's LA Knight needs something. I think that the Rumble match is a good one to start a proper story for him, a proper rivalry, something. But give me something more. Next question is going to be, is this just Cena's Rumble to win? I think everyone's saying yes, and I'm saying no. I think he has his clear path there. That's a swerve. If I'm Triple H, that's my swerve. Cena's not winning this thing. We'll do it another way. What do you think?
I honestly, so the way that I see it, I don't think he's going to go after Cody Rhodes. Like,
Okay.
listen, he does. I think he's going to go after Gunther.
Okay.
Because Cena, I remember when watching Cena all the time, he always wanted to go against like the biggest and the baddest to prove like he was the biggest and the baddest.
Mm-hmm.
And Cody Rhodes is more of he's kind of like his father, slow, methodical. He figures it out. Gunther's that like just brute. I'm gonna smack the shit out of you, and you're gonna feel it for the next 3 days.
If
And that's
Cena's going after Gunther, does that mean we're really going to have CM Punk in the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania?
Probably.
I'm getting there, but you're not wrong. Look, so CM Punk's I'm going to go next. I'll also hit that right away while you mentioned him.
So,
Punk,
Ben, to answer your question, I do think Cena's going to win the Rumble. And
Do you?
I can't stand having predetermined kind of Rumble winners like this shit with the old guys. This is the best way for them to get shut up. This should be with young guys. This is their opportunity to get yeeted into the main event. Can they handle it? This is no.
So my take is that they draw us out. I think that Cena wins at Elimination Chamber instead.
He's going to win the number one contender match, or he's going to win a title?
He's going to win a number one contender match at Elimination Chamber. Is what I think that you tease the Rumble to give us Elimination Chamber, or it's not a title match for Cena at all, and it's just going to be Cena's going to go down to, insert name here. Personally, I'd love to see Cena give Penta the rub just to get him actually like recognized. Like, give me some people that. But look, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Shinsuke Nakamura is a fun matchup for Cena. I think that CM Punk is a fun matchup for Cena.
That's the final two of the Rumble, I think. If I had to put a final two at the Rumble, the last two in the ring, I think it's Punk Cena. One, that's just going to be nostalgia for everyone circa 2011.
Yeah.
But two, they're legitimately going to keep you on the edge of your seat because these are both probably the top two favorite. If I had to put betting favorites, those are probably the top two. Punk was supposed to win it last year. Remember, before he tore his tricep, he was supposed to win the Rumble last year, I think. And then the audible was made to Cody. And then they had to basically do an entire story to get Cody the title. And he was, again, if it wasn't for Rock and not wanting to do it or whatever the heck it was, this is what you're saying. Like, everything can change. Ben, you mentioned Kofi Mania. The injury that happened to Punk last year. Like, shit changes. But I think those are probably the final two in the ring. And Punk, I think, is definitely in that last 10 to come out.
Okay.
Same with Cena.
Yeah, so I'm a different direction here, actually. I think that we're going to see it go. Like I said, I think we're going to get Swerve. I really believe we're going to get Swerve in the Rumble this year. My final four are Nakamura, Braun Breaker, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think Nakamura has been doing a lot of good work lately. He's put his work in to get the shot, to give fans. I think that's where you start seeing that almost Becky Lynch-esque like fan flocking behind to try and push him over the edge. I mean, look, a lot of us who are deeper wrestling fans, we love Nakamura and his work. Casual fans have pretty much ignored the dude, if we're being honest. I think he can.
I've ignored him.
Braun Breaker to me is that guy that you put in that spot to, again, he's been built as the beast that he is. He's still a mid-card champion. I get it. But, like, I think that Braun is going to get rocket strapped to the top. And how good would a Braun Breaker Gunther match be at WrestleMania?
I don't think
I don't
anywhere near ready to
no.
be the main event.
I don't either. And, I would love to see it just because I'm liking how his storyline goes right now. I just can't see him being high up on that main stage yet. I think he still needs to go. Maybe I give it another season. Give it another go around before we do that, because I see
the kid's
him
in his 20s.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of time.
I think, the big thing too you have to realize is there. I'm not gonna lie. The one match I would love to see is Logan Paul versus Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker just snapping the shit out of Logan Paul and getting him out of the WWE. I hate that.
Right. But also the Gunther Breaker match would be a really fun one to see.
Yes.
Is it a Mania match? No. Is it a main event on a PLE? Yes.
So how good? Again, I'm going a little bit on the if we were creative. And by the way, if you like wrestling, we'll eventually get our crap together and try to show up again called If We Were Creative. Check us out later. But anyway, that being said, look, there's names here that let's call it what it is. We've completely skipped over that are, to me, are kind of big to-dos here. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn's had his good runs of late. I mentioned Penta before a little bit. There's a lot of things here, a lot of pieces to this that I think warrant conversation. I mean, it's Roman Reigns could use this. As weird as this to say, Roman Reigns could use a Rumble win. Now, do I think that
when he's liked?
When he's not hated, at least.
Well, that's what I mean. When we weren't getting Roman Reigns shoved down our throats.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jey Uso logically should be in the final four, right? Like he's hot. I got it.
Yes.
I mean, it should happen.
Earned? Absolutely.
I think Rey Mysterio is one of your first ones out, by the way. I think Chad Gable's early out.
Yep.
I hope so.
I hope they give Penta a decent run.
Penta's going to be in that mid-range.
Yeah, I think
guys come out.
We get Zack Ryder back.
He wouldn't come back as Ryder. He'd come back as Cardona. He said it already.
Fine. But woo, bring it on, man. I'm here for it. There's usually an NXT person or two we can see. I want to see Joe Hendry.
Absolutely.
I would say with that the collab that they got now with TNA and WWE, I want to see a lot of those TNA guys to come over in the Rumble. I mean, 100%. I would love to see Joe Hendry come over here.
I think
Hensley
that
will be there. Masha Slamovich will be in the Women's Rumble. Those are probably two lock-in names. Jordan Grace will debut under the WWE banner. She is done with TNA. Her contract is done. She has said her goodbyes to everybody backstage. She is on her. She's WWE bound, most likely. Hendry's also WWE bound. I don't know why they put the title on him at Genesis rather than Bound for Glory, but that's besides the point. Did Hendry re-sign a 1-year extension? Is this to help bridge the gap? Is he's technically going to be on this handshake transition deal between TNA and WWE? His contract was supposed to get out around the same time as Jordan Grace's, so I have no clue what's going on there. But I think Hendry will be in the Rumble. By the way, that will most likely be, unless there's a mega return, the loudest pop of the entire night. That is my guess. That's probably one of the loudest pops of the night. Is it the loudest pop of the night? If Ryder's there, that could be a big pop. Cena's gonna get a respectable pop. Punk might get booed. I mean, let's go down this road, Ben.
okay.
Returns. We got anyone from TNA, that's fine. Are we gonna get, men or women, a surprise return that we're not seeing coming, or a debut, a guest appearance that we're not seeing coming? My wish list for this year, at some point, I don't give a damn if it's Mania or SummerSlam, John Cena versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Ace versus Ace. The match builds it freaking self.
Well, if you go back on Monday Night Raw, when Seth Rollins comes out, there's a kid that has a sign that says, "Where's the man?" And he said, and you can hear it on the microphone, "Watch on Saturday."
Yeah.
So Becky's coming back. Becky's coming back. Charlotte's back.
Yep, she's already. They already put her new shirt out today with her new gimmick.
You know, what if Jade Cargill comes back?
She medically cleared yet?
She is medically cleared.
Okay, then she could
that
come back.
storyline. So here's
Gets
the
us
thing.
to Bianca Jade. Yep.
So because the whole situation of her getting jumped, who was it? I feel like that's going to rear its face, through this whole situation. I also, now this was something that I saw on TikTok, and everything on TikTok you believe.
Absolutely.
Everything. Lita might come back. Mickey James might be there. Some of the
Both wouldn't shock me, honestly.
No. But the one that I was, the one I really want to see, because I think this is a year that we see her go into the Hall of Fame, Melina. I would love to see Melina come out.
I can see that. By the way,
It's
first Hall of
in
Famer has been
Vegas.
announced for this year, by the way. The headline has been
Triple
announced.
H.
Triple H.
So, yeah, apropos, I suppose. I think AJ Lee makes a return. I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
That one to me seems like it's coming. It won't shock us, but it'll be a massive pop. I think if AJ Lee comes out, you'll see that place blow up.
And it'll be a one night only contract deal. I really don't see her coming back for a run. She doesn't need a run. Now, could she come back and do kind of what Beth did? Could she go in a mixed tag with CM Punk and do something really cool the same way Edge and Beth did with Miz and Maurice, with Cena and Nikki? Is that something we could see, which I think would be really fun to see?
Becky and Seth would be a fun.
Oh my gosh.
pair.
There it is. That's the main event right there.
The one that kind of is still on the radar, but it's been very quiet, is Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
She said she's ready to. She said she's ready to come back. Now,
right.
thing
She had
is,
a kid. That's right. She was.
And she's been teasing it on Instagram as well. Like her comeback has been teased.
Because she's had herself in her, when she was Bray Wyatt and that whole, psycho bitch phase. She's been posting that on Instagram and TikTok and everything. that might be another one that comes back. And I can also see, if she were to go into that, I see her then going to the Wyatt Six and becoming the head of Wyatt Six.
I'd like that.
I don't think they do that to Bo because of Bray's passing. I don't think they'd ever do that. Do I think she'd be the second working there? Yes.
I think she can take screen time from Howdy, though. I think where Howdy can kind of take a back seat and become more part-time. I think Bliss can do that very easily.
And a lot of them there, like a lot of us do, right? Have a lot of respect for Bray Wyatt the human.
Yep.
Absolutely just a lot of respect for him, hands down. Here's mine. And I think this is more than possible. The National Treasure makes his WWE debut. The National Treasure, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, former TNA World Champion. I think he gets in the ring. And I think he has a one-night off thing. He's already kind of teased it off and on throughout the year, facing the right person. He's not exactly old, but I think Nick Aldis could make an appearance. That's my guess during the Men's Rumble.
Are we going to have like another like comic relief on this one? Where like Pat McAfee the one year walked up, looked at Omos and said, "Yep, fuck that," and just went over himself. Are we going to see another one of those this year?
Too much talent this year with the new TNA deal. I don't see that happening.
I would be upset. I want something funny to happen.
What about Britt Baker? So, look, there's a lot of heat
shit
on the dirt sheets about Britt with AEW, locker room stats, all that stuff. Britt would even, to your point about one night off even, Britt's fine. She can go be a dentist and she's going to just fine life however she wants to do it. She's a good wrestler. She's fun to watch. She's entertaining. She wouldn't be a bad one-off either to see all of a sudden pop up, and she would get a very nice pop from a good chunk of the wrestling community, I think, if she were to show up.
Agreed. I mean, we'll see if she was let go. I have no idea. That's a whole nother topic of how Tony Khan is fucking up AEW, but that's besides the point. And with all due respect, you started off good, but I don't think he knows how to freaking right the ship right now, and he needs help. I'm available. I'll right the ship. Don't worry about it.
Well, guys, I guess final shots here. Give me your Rumble winners for men and women. TJ, start us off.
For men, I'm actually going to throw not really a wild card, but we did say his name. I say Jey Uso gets this one. Goes after Gunther again. For the women's, I think Bayley goes back to back, and she goes after Rhea.
Okay. Adam?
Cena for the men. Becky Lynch for the women. Cena versus Cody, night 2 of Mania. Cena gets his 17th title. Vicky's going to get close to title number 17. He passes the torch officially to Cody, even though Cody's literally wrestling only for a couple more years. But still, the torch has been officially passed. And then I think we're going to see Becky versus Rhea, night 1 of WrestleMania main event.
Okay. I got Charlotte in the women's. I think Charlotte wins and goes after Rhea. I think that's going to be a very it's two physical phenomenons going after each other. They can both work. I mean, that you can have in of itself. Dare I say they could even main event fully and bypass one of the men's matches to be that main event, and that will be worthy of it, no doubt.
I think night 1 is the women's Rumble winner. Night 2 is the men's winner. And there's nothing wrong with that. You literally have busted your ass. You now have 2 WrestleMania main events. Freaking do it. I mean, didn't we see this years ago with what was it? Sasha and Becky, it was Sasha Becky, whoever main evented WrestleMania night 1 many years ago during the first split before it went back to 2. I don't know. I think it was 2020. I forget whenever the first split is. Anyway, gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. And the men, I mean, look, I kind of played around with it earlier. I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns here. I think I go Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair both walk out with wins.
I like
it. And I mean, they're two that I have a hard time picking against. Those two win big matches. They show up in big times. And mean, look, Charlotte deserves her flowers. She came back for a reason.
Agreed.
So I think this is part of it. Switching gears into the other worlds of sports. We talked a little bit about the Pro Bowl this weekend, and I think that we had in their chat as well, looking at what's the best Pro Bowl game or All-Star game or whatever. I'm going to say this. I love skills contests. 3-point contest, dunk contest, quarterback challenge, fastest man, whatever.
Home run derby.
Fastest slap shot. Like, look, I love it. I will take those over any all-star game of any form. Just to me, it's more fun. When I was a kid, I would rewatch quarterback challenges or any of the little like pre-Pro Bowl events they had. If I could, like, that was like on my VCR. I was on that stuff, man, and I loved it. I mean, it's just fun seeing the quarterbacks, for example, be normal dudes, like giving each other a hard time, screwing, like Peyton Manning screwing with the old guys, whatever. And so I'm gonna go ahead and say that the games all suck. The contests are all fun. Like, let me see these guys be human, have fun showing off their, frankly, immortal talent. But that's where I go. Steve, welcome back on here, and I'll kick you now.
Let's talk about the four major sports: MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL. The NFL has watered down their product. Now we're just going and playing flag football games. And I mean, they still have the skills competition, but once again, a lot of it is turned into protecting the players. So they've kind of watered down what used to be. I mean, the Pro Bowl used to be appointment viewing. It was in Honolulu. You watched it. It was so cool to see the players just get that vacation. Now it's like, it's the weekend between the championships and the Super Bowl. So let's just kind of throw something in and then, let the marquee event be the Super Bowl, because it was always after the Super Bowl. Looking at the NBA, I mean, you watch the NBA. I mean, you turn on the All-Star game and it's literally tossing the ball down the court, dunk, toss the ball down the court, dunk. I mean, the night before, the Saturday night is the time to watch the 3-point contest, watch the dunk contest, watch that. Because I mean, I loved the 3-point contest, and I still do. To see them just jump, get those racks and just toss those balls up. It's just great. Major League Baseball, as I said, home run derby, appointment viewing for me. I will watch that from start to finish to see those guys. They've made some changes over the last couple of years, good, bad, whatever. But to see some of those players just launch those balls and see how far they can go, and you're like, holy cow, like in a controlled environment, man, can this guy hit the ball far and long. The All-Star game itself, I mean, the Bud Selig extra innings incident turned me off to that when they walked over and Bud's like, cut the game, we're done. Like, it's a tie. The NHL skills competitions are awesome. I mean, the fastest skater, the hardest shot, that's cool stuff to watch. And the NHL, I think, has done the best to reinvent the game. They went from a traditional 5-on-5 kind of thing to that 3-on-3 with goaltenders. It's fast-paced. It's engaging. You get to see the players at their best. They're out there. They're passing the puck. They're shooting. They're just having fun. And it just keeps the energy going. So I would say the NHL is my top one. And then between the other three, whatever, I'm more the skills competition, especially for the NBA and the NHL. And then the NFL, as I said, they've trashed it.
Adam?
I love the idea of the Pro Bowl skills competition. I think it's a heck of a lot much better way to be able to do things than touch football and no one wanting to play aggressively, because no one wants to risk injury in a meaningless game and affect contracts, affect their careers. Nobody wants to do it. Understood and respectable. So how do you evolve the game? Like the NBA's done, you get the dunk contest, which I'm sorry has become an absolute freaking joke because no actual legitimate players that are high tier are competing in it. The 3-point contest is always fun, but accuracy, the target one, a bunch of other stuff that they can do. I like the way the NFL has kind of made it you got here because you're the best of the best. Now prove it in these skills challenges. Flag football is fun. They're all friends on the field. and they're all having a good time. Is it going to be the most watched game? No. Is it the safest for the players? Yeah. So yes, the skills challenge I think was a phenomenal addition, and just keep it that way. Where are they even holding it this year? Honolulu?
Orlando.
Oh.
That seems to be where they're going to focus. I mean, because right now Hawaii is off limits because Aloha Stadium is, I think, a pile of rubble right now. So there's no place that can hold it that's big enough. Orlando has kind of become their de facto home at this point for the Pro Bowl.
TJ, how about you? What do you think?
You know, I was going to side with Steve, and then I remembered there's another All-Star game that's actually extremely fun to watch is the Professional Lacrosse League All-Star game. They have, accuracy, fastest shot. They have the fastest man on 2 feet, and they also have a freestyle competition where they can pull off some, insane tricks with the lacrosse stick, or a dude jumps over a car and scores a goal. I mean, like, they do some fun stuff. It's definitely, I think NHL is the best for me. I love watching NHL All-Star games. I like it when they did by the division. So you do like the East and the West, and then you had like the 4 conferences, and then the winner of those 2 would face each other in the finals. And, I thought that was the best thing to do for the NHL. MLB, I love the home run derby. It's always fun to watch, young kids, see some power hitters, and then some guys that you never really heard of who are the bottom of that roster who can crank these things out. So, I think I like those 2 are my top 2. I stopped watching the Pro Bowl after Sean Taylor creamed the shit out of that punter, and they were like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. It sucked. I just stopped watching it. The only reason why I would watch it is because they have cool jerseys. That's about it. And then NBA, I don't know what that even stands for. National Bitch Association. I don't know.
So I'm so surprised TJ's all about the drip, but that's okay. Though, look, all right, guys, kind of coming up here on time a little bit. I want to go kick us over to our favorite segment, 4 minutes on high. And it looks like I get to go first this time. That's just luck of the draw, I suppose. Well,
Do it.
What?
Do it. Do it.
There are beans in chili, TJ. There are beans in chili. They have a whole segment of operations for Bush's beans to ensure we have proper beans for our chili. It's okay that you're a displaced Texan in the Mid-Atlantic. I love you for it. Jalapenos are great, but chili has beans. Okay, I'm good. TJ rebuttal.
DJ rebuttal.
I'm going to actually, it's not even a rebuttal. I'm going to ask you, do you know why there are no beans in chili and what the reasoning for it is?
No, go ahead.
So on cattle drives, beans were too heavy to put in on the meal cart. And they said, for one, it would hold back the guys from working. That's why they didn't put beans in chili. It's stuck ever since. If you go to Texas and ask for beans in your chili, not only will you get hung by your ball sack and laughed at, you will probably get kicked out of that state forever, and they will call you a girl. So my rebuttal to this, yes, there is no beans in chili. It is called stew if you put beans in chili. But there is some good chili that I have had that has substitutes. You said noodles. That's a fucking Italian dinner, motherfucker. Let's get that straight.
I
That
agree
is
with you.
straight Italian.
I agree
Okay.
with you on that one.
If you want a good chili, you get 3 meats. You get some of your seasoning in there, some cheese and cornbread. That's all you need. Maybe some tomato paste on that. That's it. You put beans in that and you put it around my face, you and I are fighting, and I don't care how big you are, how tall you are. There's no beans in this chili. I would wake up my daughter, but she would probably scream at me. You ask her. I never taught her. Hand on the Bible. Never taught her. Beans are never in chili. The first thing she said to my mom when she had chili, why are there beans in it? There should never be beans in it. It is how it is born and raised through this family. There is no beans and chili. Outside of that, yeah, fuck you.
All right, fair enough. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, chili is a base, and add whatever the bleep you want to it. I don't really have chili that often, but anyway. Again, I mentioned it earlier. It's about time we finally get some freaking information here about the Counter-Strike 2 Austin Major, the first major for Counter-Strike since 2018, the Boston Major. So if you're interested in Counter-Strike at all and you want to be there, it is in Austin, Texas. It's at the Moody Center. It is June 20th. Well, the home major is the 3rd to the 22nd. The actual dates haven't been announced, but it's most likely the last 4 days of the tournament. You can kind of guarantee yourself for that. It's a 4-day event, not 3. It's 4. You're going to get 2 days of the quarters on Thursday and Friday, the semis on Saturday, the grand final on Sunday. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait to be there. And also, LA got some rain. Hopefully allowed to get the firefighters who help to put out the damn wildfires.
Have you been to the Moody Center yet, Adam?
I've never been to Austin, so no.
Okay. I will let you know this right now. We were there for the grand opening of the Moody Center. It's right on campus. It is spectacular.
Yeah, they're selling it as very state of the art.
Yes, I'm not being biased being a Longhorns fan by any means. We actually went to go see a concert there, and the acoustics are amazing. The amenities are great. You're right downtown. You can go to whatever bar, wherever you need to go. It is amazing. The fact that this is one of the newest arenas, it shows you the next level of what NCAA is making money-wise and bringing into this, and the fact that they're doing stuff like this. Because I think 2 weeks from now, they have PBR there, and it's the number one sign. They sell it out every year. I'm hoping that for the Counter-Strike, it sells out as well, and when you go there, you just feel at home. I mean, the place is awesome.
I'm at a contracts conference because I'm a contract administrator. I'll be literally taking time away from the conference to be back in my hotel room, to be getting my damn tickets, where I will be at a table. I will be away from all people. I will be waiting for that pre-sale to launch, and I am getting myself some tickets. How many people can it fit in the venue?
I think the capacity was like a little under 17,000.
16-2 for events, 10-7 for basketball.
Okay, so we're going to get a 10,000 seat venue for a Counter-Strike event. The most I've seen is 3,000 to 4,000 in Dallas. Oh, I'm excited.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't come back with a cowboy hat, we're going to have some problems, sir.
You know how much merch I'm going to have from this that they're going to give me? Yeah, I don't know if I want a cowboy hat, but sure. Steve!
The Yankee Cowboy. Here we go. All right, so Steve, wrap us up on our 4 minutes on Heim.
Oh my goodness. First off, let's go back to chili. So the International Chili Society has 2 types of chili. Traditional red chili. Any kind of meat or combinations of meat cooked with red chili peppers, spices, and other ingredients. Beans and rice and pasta are not allowed. On the home style chili, any kind of meat and or vegetables cooked with beans, peppers, spices, and other ingredients. So there are 2 types of chili that are recognized by the International Chili Society as official chilies. So let's start there. Number 2, kudos to all the Buffalo Bills fans who are contributing to Mark Andrews charity. This Bills Mafia, every time something happens to an opposing player either at Buffalo or somewhere else, Bills Mafia finds who they are, finds whatever charity they're associated with, and just starts dumping money into it. So
well said.
Out of a negative came a very, very big positive.
Agreed.
Next, the Utah Hockey Club. The news that broke today, they cannot find a name that they can't weasel their way into getting. The one that broke today was, we wanted Yeti, but we couldn't make a negotiation with the Yeti company work because technically the Yeti trademark extends all the way to clothing, and Yeti was not willing to release that part of the trademark to let the Utah Hockey Club have access to it. So they're now down to 3 names: the Mammoth, the Hockey Club, and the Wasatch. And
The-
what
All right,
they're
hold
doing,
on.
Whoa. The
Can we offer
Wasatch?
them bacon?
That sounds like a bad sex position.
Can we offer them bacon? The Utah bacon.
well, here's what's going on. This is where the twist happens. So today they had, and apologies for taking my full 4 minutes here, Ben, but they had a meeting with reporters to break the bad news. They then released renderings of what the final 3 jerseys would look like. No one was allowed to take pictures or any sort of descriptions of what those logos and or uniforms would look like. They are now, tonight, they're playing the Penguins right now. And then the next 3 home games, they are holding an in-arena fan vote with iPads. You are not allowed to have a camera out as you are voting. No one is allowed to see the final renderings. It's going to be one of these 3 names. They have said these are the 3 we have gotten. We are okay to use these 3. One of these 3 is the winner. So now the next 4 home games, fans are voting to make the determination. And they're saying that I don't know how true they are to this, but they're saying this is like the binding decision. Like what the fans say is what they're going with. So let's see if we have the Utah Wasatch next year. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Be fantastic.
I'll go to the game and get those Ray-Bans that takes a picture. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying that people will be monitoring. What's up, Ben?
So what's that you say? Nah, bad joke.
And the last thing, and on a very somber note, folks, we're not going to get too far into it here, but there has been an incident in DC. Please pray for all those involved.
Yep. No, thank you. And guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Sports. We love sports. See y'all later.
Enjoy the Rumble.